Hi everyone. Today Pastor John is going to be preaching and he is going to be starting in Exodus chapter 35. So it's time to start building the tabernacle, and Moses is telling the Israelites, anyone with a willing and generous heart, we need help with supplies and we need people to give their time to help build the tabernacle so we have a place of worship where God's presence can go. So I'm going to read for you in chapter 35, starting in verse 4. Moses said to all the congregation of the people of Israel, "This is a thing that the Lord has commanded. Take from among you a contribution to the Lord. Whoever is of a generous heart, let him bring the Lord's contribution." And he's asking for supplies like silver and gold and animal skins and oils and stones.
Later in the chapter, it explains how the Israelites responded. In verse 20, it says that then all the congregation of the people of Israel departed from the presence of Moses, and they came, everyone whose heart stirred him, and everyone whose spirit moved him, and brought the Lord's contribution to be used for the tent of meeting, and for all its service, and for the holy garments.
So many of the Israelites were really generous and brought in a ton of supplies, and they gave their time to help build and help get things ready for the tabernacle. So today we're going to do a little experiment with two different bars of soap. We have one bar of soap that is an Ivory brand and another brand of soap that is a Dove brand. Now, we said before the Israelites were very generous with what they had, and I want you to picture in your mind, picture that this bar of soap represents everything that you have, all of your time, all of your toys, and all of your things, all of your friends, all of your money. Everything you have is in this bar of soap. The Israelites knew that what they had came from God, and they wanted to be able to give it back to Him to help build a place of worship. And so if I drop this piece of soap into the water, you can see that it floats up near the top and is very accessible because the Israelites were ready to give what they had.
Some people, though, aren't as generous as the Israelites are, and they like to hold on to all of their things and their time and use everything for themselves. It's kind of like this bar of soap, that when we put it in the water, it sinks down to the bottom of the glass. It's a lot harder to reach, and people try to keep things to themselves.
So Moses asked the Israelites to give supplies in their time if they were willing, and so many of the Israelites did give. So we're going to take several of these bars of ivory soap, and if you remember, each bar represents everything they had. And we are going to cut off just a piece of each bar of soap, because each Israelite, when they gave some of what they had, we had plenty.
Now comes the really cool part. Even when you only give a little bit of what you have, God can still use it to do really big things. Here we have the pieces of soap on our plate. Look and see what happens to them after we put them in the microwave. Remember how small they were in the beginning? Now they're super big. Look at how big the pieces of soap got after they were in the microwave. When we have a generous heart and give even just a little bit, God is able to use those gifts to do much more than we ever could. The Israelites were so generous that they even had to be told to stop giving because they had already collected enough to build the tabernacle.
So what are some different ways that we can give back to God this week? Maybe it's sharing our time with those who need extra help, or spending our time getting alone with God and spending time in His Word and in prayer. Or maybe it's just giving or sharing our toys or our things with other people. We want to be like the Israelites and have generous hearts so that way God can do even more with what we give Him. God loves a cheerful giver.